Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on Dubbletalk do not reflect those of Anime Herald. Due to strong language, listener discretion is advised. Now sit back and enjoy the show. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and anime fans of all stripes. It's time for Nerdy Talk, the only show that doesn't lose its way. I'm Mike Ferrer, and I'm joined tonight by Matt Brown.
Yola.
So tonight we're going to get rolling with something that came through earlier today. It's currently February 14th, so happy Valentine's Day, everybody. That said, Aniplex of America announced that they're getting a second show onto Toonami, which is pretty cool, considering that they just got Kill la Kill up. Sword Art Online 2 will begin airing on the Toonami block on March 28, 2015 at 1 a.m. New episodes will obviously be aired weekly. This is going to take over the slot that is currently occupied by Naruto Shippuden. I figure I bring this one up for conversation because Toonami really has needed some good news lately. Over the past couple months, we've seen it get chopped down from an all-night block at its highest ratings ever to kind of struggling to survive again. We are back down to the 3-hour block. We're back down to it being like that strict 3.5 hours where afterwards it just goes right back to traditional Adult Swim stuff. So it's good to see them at least getting some content that looks like it could really work with the mainstream. Sword Art Online is a really big property. It did very well for Toonami during its first season run. And likewise, it looks like Kill la Kill is actually doing quite well for them. So, what are your thoughts on this one, Matt?
I'm actually a little bit surprised to hear that Sword Art Online did well for them. Not because it isn't a good show or anything, but I don't know, just considering the kinds of shows that they've run and throughout their history, it's the stuff that they've been adding lately is definitely a departure from that. So obviously their audience is changing. I'm very surprised, even given that, to see that Naruto is getting replaced.
It might be a case where they just ended the broadcast season for Naruto, though. Because if I recall correctly, Viz and Adult Swim do those in like a regular broadcast season format. So while it's going off now, it'll probably come back for the fall season.
I don't know. It's awfully early to stop a season when it's not even spring yet.
March 28th, it should be about the time that you start seeing the turnover, though.
I mean, we're talking about regular broadcast seasons, right?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, broadcast TV usually goes well past spring break.
True.
Things don't start going off the air until late May or early June.
True. This could be one of those cases, though, also where, I mean, Adult Swim's really trying to make Toonami work. They're trying to really grow the brand again, make it something where, like, last July they posted their highest ratings ever. I think they want to at least get to somewhere close to that again, which is understandable. They got advertisers.
The fact that they're bringing in newer titles, I'm sure, is helping. I just don't. I wonder what the licensing is looking like right now, because these titles don't seem like something that can run forever, like like the Narutos.
Yeah, likewise. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how that stuff ends up shaping up once the rubber hits the road. I mean, Kill la Kill's doing pretty well for them, from what I understand.
It's an outrageous show. It's definitely, at least Kill la Kill is definitely sort of in their old demo as well as the new. You know, it's a show that appeals to people that like crazy things.
Yeah, true enough. It's completely over the top, which is probably its biggest ally. Here we go. I got some numbers here. February 7th, Kill la Kill posted 1.2 million viewers, which is pretty good. Considering that Naruto Shippuden, which aired directly after, dropped by about a third of that to 874,000.
even something like Kill la Kill doesn't have like amazing lasting power, I think. You know, because it's just so in your face. I think, I think once people have seen it once or twice, that's pretty much enough. Whereas something like Gurren Lagann is pretty outrageous in its own right, but it's a little bit more chill about it, you know, over the term of the series.
Yeah, fair enough. All I can really say is it's going to be interesting to see the numbers the next couple weeks because as of right now, it's doing surprisingly well.
Yeah, I guess I'm trying to say if they keep doing what they're doing, they may have to have a higher rate of turnover to keep the audience. Because it's hard to find shows that you can just run over and over again and people are going to keep watching them.
Oh yeah, I mean the days where you could run Cowboy Bebop 3 seasons in a row is over. Mind you, I really enjoyed Cowboy Bebop. I adored Cowboy Bebop.
Every time I watch it, and I watch it a lot. One show I don't watch as much as I used to, though, is Trigun, and that was another like big TV staple.
I have not seen Trigun in ages. Not for the lack of liking it. It's just it's one that doesn't pop in your mind right away, you know?
Yeah.
I know you asked about how. I mean, you mentioned that Sword Art Online feels like a real departure from what they're used to, but yeah, kind of six to one, half dozen of another. I mean, in a lot of ways, Sword Art Online is more like a modern day hack sign in some regards. The whole concept of being trapped in an MMO and all that stuff.
Did Dot Hack appear on TV? I don't remember.
Yeah, ran on Toonami back in the early 2000s.
Probably didn't do amazingly for them compared to the other stuff, though.
Oh, probably not. I unfortunately don't have hard numbers on it.
I mean, don't get me wrong. SAO is a strong property. It's just, it's not like your typical late night fare. It's a Saturday morning or Saturday early afternoon cartoon, which is how most of us who've seen it have watched it.
Yeah, true enough. But, I mean, that's the thing. It's like Toonami's audience, it's really interesting because they've had some really, really unlikely shows do well on there. I mean, yeah, Dead Man did well. Dragon Ball does well, obviously, but you get these shows like Samurai 7 surprisingly posted halfway decent numbers as it got rolling. And you have stuff like that pop up from time to time, which is what's really interesting about the blog.
Yeah, I can almost see Samurai 7. I don't know. Just seems like a good fit. I don't know. I actually haven't seen that show, but of course I've seen the original Seven Samurai. And that sort of thing is not unusual for late night viewing.
Yeah, Samurai 7 is decent. Wasn't my cup of tea, but it was decent.
Yeah, I actually liked the lesser known Kaze no Yojimbo, which is based off of the movie Yojimbo. Kind of. Anyway, I actually liked that quite a lot. And I think I'm one of like 10 people who have seen it.
You know, I'm still kicking myself for not buying it.
I'm sure you can find it for about 50 cents now.
Probably. And hey, Anime Boston's right around the corner, so I'll have a chance to get it then.
Yeah. Not a whole lot of Kurosawa adaptations. But then a lot of Kurosawa's movies were adaptations of some Western thing.
Yeah, true enough.
Anyway, that's pretty much all I've got to say about that.
Yeah, likewise. All I can really say is cool story, bro. Can't wait to see how it turns out, because the dubcast is going to be pretty much the returning from season 1, obviously. Plus, Shinon's been confirmed to be Michelle Ruff, who's been around for a long time. I mean, on top of doing Luna and Sailor Moon recently, she's been around since, God, since at least the late 90s, early 2000s, because I remember
Hmm.
her in shows like Tsukikage Ran.
Yeah, you'll never go wrong choosing Michelle Ruff.
She's got good range and she's quite talented. On a side note, I think I left a good portion of our readers completely in the dark about Tsukikage Ran. I think I'm one of like four people that watched it.
That sounds about right.
I really love that show though. I did. I'm a sucker for period shows. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes they go horribly wrong, like Moyo Ken, but
Man, I see the problem with Moe Ken was they got rid of the Batmobile. The goddamn Batmobile was hilarious.
yeah. But I mean, yeah, Rurouni Kenshin, Samurai Champloo, a lot of period pieces are very, very good.
Samurai Deeper Kyo.
Media Blasters doesn't still have that, do they?
I don't know, unfortunately.
Okay,
I
now
really
we
don't.
are kind of getting off topic.
Speaking of Media Blasters, they got a new show.
Is that a joke?
Surprisingly, no, but it's kind of incesty.
Okay. So all of their porn customers, they're trying to get them to branch out.
Possibly, I couldn't tell you. The show is Yosuga no Sora, which is based on a visual novel. And if I remember correctly, I could be very wrong on this. Like three or four out of all the endings end up with the main character leaving with his sister and getting married. And the sequel is actually from the perspective of their kid or something like that.
God, what is wrong with you, Japan?
Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
You know, it's not so much that people have sick fetishes. It's the disturbing part is how mainstream some of it is.
Oh yeah, it's really disturbing. Here we go. Yosuga no Sora. Main character Haruka Kasugano, the protagonist of the series with a gentle appearance and slim profile. Haruka, in many ways, is a spitting image of his twin sister Sora. Personal and honest, he forges lasting friendships with remarkable ease. Haruka copes with the loss of his parents with a stout heart, burdened with the knowledge that the future of his delicate sister depends on him. He cannot swim. Haruka is well regarded around the village, as their grandmother was once a doctor there. The game depicts alternate routes in which Haruka engages in romantic and sexual relationships with the heroines of the story. At the end, though, he realizes that he is in love with Sora and they enter into a relationship. However, after being caught by Nao and Kozue, he tries to end it, but decides that being together with Sora is the most important thing to him, and they run away together. In Haruka no Sora, the sequel, he is married to Sora and they are expecting their first child.
What?
Yeah. It's incesty. That's all I can really say.
From the way you describe it, that sounds an awful lot like everything that Key Visual Arts has ever made.
It really does. Here we go. It's being done by Sphere.
Probably a couple of Key rejects.
Probably. No, they are just independent. They are a sister brand of Cuffs.
Cuffs?
So, yeah,
As, as in
like handcuffs.
handcuffs?
Yeah, like bondage.
Sister brand, you say?
Yep. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Oh, God.
What's wrong with us? Our next topic tonight, anime studio Sunrise. We all know them as the house that Gundam built, the place that gave us City Hunter and Love Live, Aikatsu. A lot of well-loved shows over the years. They're going to be going through a few changes. At its most recent meeting, investment meeting, Namco Bandai Holdings announced that they're going to be splitting up Sunrise into two separate studios. Sunrise, the core studio, the people that make Gundam, Cowboy Bebop, the more fan-centric stuff are going to be remaining where they are and doubling down on that particular content. They'll still work with Bandai Visual. They'll still be kind of that entity that people know and love as they are now. However, the studio's family and kids division that's done stuff like, say, Aikatsu over the years is going to be spun off into a new company called Bandai Namco Pictures. The new studio is going to be pretty much focused only on the kids and family shows. They're going to be charged with making new IPs and basically maintaining the direction they're working with now. They'll be opening a new building in Narima, which will have a 10 million yen capital investment, which in US dollars is about 84,000 and some change.
They'll just have to watch out for them Daikon brothers.
Yes, they will. Those singing bastards. And the studio will be overseen by Sunrise Representative Director and President Yasuo Miyagawa.
I'm not exactly sure what a representative director is.
I don't know either. I really don't.
Is that a fancy term for executive producer?
Probably. But yeah, this is pretty big news. This is a major change coming to Sunrise, which over the years has been kind of seen as that, the secret end, you do not touch Sunrise type of thing.
I guess an amusing way of looking at this would be that they're trying to remove all of the bad influences from the core Mecha Masters teams.
Yeah, it really seems to be the case. I mean,
I wonder where Love Live falls in this.
That's a good question. I think that one might stay at Sunrise because it's too profitable.
Yeah, because it's like if they were really gonna split along family lines, then would Super Defender Gundam still remain at Sunrise?
That's a tough one because I mean they have a lot of shows that kind of straddle the line there. Like they have stuff that appeals to the fans while being family friendly, like you kind of mentioned SD Gundam there, or heck, Love Life. I mean, that's right now it's still white hot. So
I always had a weird relationship with Sunrise. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Gundam, and there are a few Gundam series that I really love. 0080. I even like Seed a lot, which seemed at the time that I was sort of in the minority, but I don't know how I would shake out now. But the shows that I really love from Sunrise do not have Gundam in the name. Not a single one of them. And I always found that interesting. Like City Hunter, Escaflowne, what is it called? Seraphim Call.
As a side note, listeners, if you have not seen Seraphim Call, I know you probably haven't because like 6 people have seen this. Go watch it now, damn it.
Yeah. And Infinite Revise, the list goes on. The Seikai series, Crest of the Stars, Banner of the Stars. I'm not going to list out every one of them, but I mean, you get my point. I really love Sunrise for all of the non-Gundam things that they do, and I also like some of the Gundam things.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the same boat. I mean, 9 out of the 10 shows I really enjoy from Sunrise do not have the word Gundam in the title, which, I mean, a lot of people would probably kind of look at you funny when you say it first, but when you think about it, they have such a huge stable of quality content. Like, the stuff you mentioned, and they have stuff like Cowboy Bebop, which was, well, it's Cowboy fucking Bebop.
Yeah. Strange that I didn't think to mention that.
But then they have, like, the fun, like, even then they have stuff that you wouldn't expect. Like, they have shows like Good Luck Girl, aka Bimbo Gamiga. They have Love Live, obviously. I mean, they do a surprisingly varied amount of content, which, I mean, yeah, their mecha stuff tends to really overshadow a lot of that due to reputation alone, but, I mean, they're very capable there.
Yeah. Well, and, nobody would argue that Gundam pays the bills around there, But the Gundam stuff pays the bills so well that they've been able to do some truly amazing work on other shows.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, that's like the once in a lifetime opportunity there to have a show that'll pay for itself a billion times over the course of like 40 years at this point. It's incredibly fortunate of them because it allows them to really kind of branch out and kind of take the time to build and even master these genres. I mean, I think they did Infinite Revice, and that was just brilliant. It was basically Lord of the Flies in space, and it was handled so well.
And it's pretty much exactly Lord of the Flies in space. Yes.
I mean, yeah, not everything they do is good. I mean, Gasaraki was kind of meh, but
I enjoyed it.
yeah, it was enjoyable. It just
It
wasn't
had a unique atmosphere, I think. But, at the end of the day, it was just a mecha show.
Exactly. It wasn't anything really special.
And I'm actually not sure if it was the name of the mecha, so that probably fails the Daryl Surratt definition.
Yeah, I don't remember off the top of my head. I've not seen a show in years. But, yeah. I'm kind of interested in seeing what's going to happen with this new studio also, because they're starting with almost nothing in capital. I mean, $85,000 is not a lot for an animation studio.
Sergeant Frog was Sunrise, right?
Yes, it was. Wrong? Nope, you're right, because...
So it seems like this new studio is kind of like their objective is to make idol shows and
stuff like Sergeant Frog,
family accessible comedy.
Yeah, it's going to be just the.
I think it'll probably do just fine as long as they, leave it alone for a little while.
Yeah, if they can get away from the executive meddling, it'll at least have a chance to do decently. But like I said, my one concern is just that funding issue. I mean, $85,000 is not a lot for an animation studio. I mean, basically, if now I'm thinking about that, they're going to be doing Aikatsu. They're going to get money.
That number could be. I was going to say that number could be deceptive. They may be funneling. They may be, whatever properties that they're leaving to this studio to work on. They may be funneling the proceeds from those back into it, and it may have other income, rights related things. So their starting capital is pretty much non-existent. I think we can agree on that, but they it doesn't mean that they don't have means of continuing their operations.
Yeah, true. I mean, they're probably more than likely going to be doing Aikatsu going forward. So, I mean, that's currently printing money in Japan at this point. It's incredibly popular, both with younger audiences and with the otaku crowd, because, well, it's an idol show.
I was kind of joking earlier, but I wonder if I'm right about, well, the joke was that they were removing all of the bad influences from the core mecha teams, but, thinking more seriously about it, maybe they were creating this new studio so that their core teams wouldn't have to work on stuff that basically prints money and their B teams could handle,
That is true. It's a valid observation for sure.
But I don't know. I mean, organizational politics being what it is, who the hell knows?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, we're not going to know until things get rolling. So, yeah. It just kind of shocked me to see that they were actually pulling from Sunrise when, forever, Sunrise has been that studio that just you don't touch it and they'll make you money. They're the golden goose,
Yeah, I feel like they're not pulling from Sunrise so much as
refocusing it.
Yeah, I think that like I said, I was kind of joking about that earlier, but I think that's exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to get the ordinary stuff, for lack of a better word, off of their plate.
Yeah, true. Because I mean, while Sunrise does have the chops, they probably don't want to waste the studio's talent on, say, another season of The Daily Lives of High School Boys or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a fair assessment. Of course, it's total speculation, and who the hell knows? Like I said.
Disclaimer, this section is all speculation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I know everything we say is speculation, right?
Yeah.
We don't have the inside scoop, but sometimes it seems necessary to say it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, at this point, all we know is it's a studio, it's forming, they're going to be doing the kids and family shows. That's literally all we know, so all we have to go by is a speculation.
Yep.
I mean, I do wish them well. I hope it becomes another powerful entity in Bandai Namco. Because, I mean...
And if they don't do well, it was probably a case of the company wanting to get rid of a certain person.
Oh, yeah. If they don't do well, they'll just dissolve the studio, pull the people back into Sunrise, and away they go again.
Or just fire them.
Or just fire them, yeah.
I would be afraid to get fired in Japan. Just the way the culture around work goes around out there. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like if you quit, it's bad enough. Nobody wants to hire you, and if you get fired, it's probably even worse.
Oh yeah, definitely. All right, our last topic of the night. A lot of you probably remember that last season, Funimation announced that they were kicking off a new initiative called Broadcast Dubs. Well, Broadcast Dubs apparently did quite well. If you recall, last season it was two shows they kicked off with. It was Psychopaths 2 and Laughing Under the Clouds. This season, the company announced that they will be dubbing 10 shows for the winter 2015 season. The first 3 are going to be kicking off on Wednesday, February 18th, and those include Assassination Classroom, Tokyo Ghoul Radical A, and Death Parade. Otherwise, Rolling Girls, World Break, Aria, Curse for Holy Swordsman, Kami-sama Kiss Season 2, Absolute Duo, Yodokuma Arashi, Yono the Dawn Season 2, and Maria Version Witch are all slated to be into the Simuldub program. In addition, Funimation is partnering with Gaming 6 Screw Attack to launch Dubbletalk, which is a new live streaming talk show that's going to be available to absolutely everyone, unlike the Simuldubs, which are obviously only for subscribers. Anyway, Dubbletalk will be hosted by Funimation's Justin Rojas and Lauren Moore, as well as Screw Attack's Chad James. Episodes are going to include things like Q&A, recaps, guest appearances, contests, and, typical online talk show crap. Really, this is just kind of interesting to see because in the last season, I pretty much described the broadcast dubs as a coup for Funimation because it was that rare case where they had the resources and the know-how to get these dubs out and ready on such a short time frame, while at the same time being able to keep up with the flow of subtitle content. I mean, have been no other studios that have been really able to put forward that type of effort in the meantime. So I thought this was interesting. I thought it would be kind of worth talking about. So what are your thoughts, Matt?
My thought is, why didn't this announcement come a month ago? And, I'm being a little bit cheeky about that. They're obviously trying to do this on a lot of shows, and that takes time. But I actually love the broadcast dub concept. I'll start with that. I think that the faster that they can dub these shows and get them online, the less it's one of those combating piracy initiatives that these guys just have subs. We have a dub. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. The faster they can do that, the less and less I think people are likely to download things, because there's a good alternative that's coming out fast, and hey, that's terrific. It kind of sucks that they're in a position where they have to do that, but the industry before the piracy problem was a little bit too comfortable, I think, and they didn't really have to consider doing what their customers wanted, and now all that's changed. So,
absolutely, and it also creates more of a research advantage too, because being able to stream these dubs, they can at least see what works, what doesn't, and it gives them time to either update or tweak things before that Blu-ray disc goes out. It's definitely a chance to really see what shows work under this format, what shows can actually thrive under the dub format, like the broadcast dubs.
Yeah, I think they could. I think now it's a little bit early in the evolution of this thing. They're probably have a little bit too much, a little bit more skin in the game, as it were, than they're comfortable with. Because even it used to be that you could wait, you could almost wait and see what the downloaders were doing to decide if dubs were even worth it, as funny as that sounds. Nowadays, Funimation isn't taking a huge risk, to be sure. Anything that they pick up, they're going to dub. I'm not 100% convinced that they make money off of everything that they dub. It's definitely still a risk. And dubbing for broadcast is that's using up a lot of their resources, perhaps earlier than they would have to for the disc releases. And you have to wonder if people watching it on broadcast are taking away from their ultimate disc sales. I still think it's the right way to go. It's just the economics of it are getting more complicated.
That is true. Not to mention the logistics. Not only do you have to worry about getting the dubs together, you have to worry about pretty much everything working on time, like everything coming from Japan on time. How many times have we heard stories of materials getting lost in transit or just plain not arriving,
Yeah, I don't know what these negotiations go like, but I'm sure there's got to be some kind of guarantee that, if you can't cough up the goods, we're not doing this thing, Obviously,
yeah.
And they're not gonna, Funimation has always been appropriately conservative, I think, about their announcements. They're not going to announce something that they don't have everything they need to produce.
True. This isn't like back in the day with ADV Films or something like that, where they'd make these bold promises and just never deliver on them. Like that, what was it, the Evangelion movie by Weta Workshop?
I actually don't remember that. You'll have to remind me. No, seriously, remind me of that. What are you talking about?
All right, well, in the early 2000s-ish, like back in the height of the bubble, I believe this was at an Otakon or an AX, ADV Films announced that they would be partnering with several production companies, including Weta Workshop, who was riding high from The Lord of the Rings at the time, to produce a live-action adaptation of Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Yeah, that thing.
And it just never came through.
That almost seems like the least of ADV's old problems, to be honest.
Well, yeah, don't forget they
Like
also had a
just from what I remember, they would license everything under the sun, and it wasn't very long before people were like, "Is this ever going to get released?" I mean, ever?
yeah, true. I mean, don't forget this is the company that licensed what was it, Sergeant Frog and Gurren Lagann, and they literally just sat on them. They actually dubbed like numerous episodes, but they never released them, and they let the licenses lapse or something like that.
That's pretty embarrassing if you put forth the cash to dub something and you don't have enough money to put it on the market.
Oh yeah, definitely. It really is. I mean, it's the telltale sign of a company that just wasn't managed well, it is a shame.
Yeah. I mean, at least as long as I can remember, Funimation is not one of those companies.
No, not at all. I mean, this is a company that managed to go from being the Dragon Ball company to the biggest anime producer in North America. I mean, they are very, very shrewd, very savvy at what they do, and
Yeah. Well, and they're careful, unlike unlike pretty much all of the others.
true, true. They do a lot of risk analysis and stuff like that, I wager.
I guess the second part of this story was how they're doing. Well, I guess I would classify this along the lines of their normal level of outreach. This little Dubbletalk show, where double as in Dubble, bubble with a D, double bubble.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a pure marketing win for them because
Sure.
their partnership with Screw Attack ensures that it's going to be promoted right off the bat because Screw Attack is not going to just invest in a program and let it die in the vine. So it's already got a pre-baked audience with Screw Attack.
Well, and pretty much everything Rojas does is PR.
Oh yeah, that too. I mean, but not only that, but it's also a controlled environment where they can actually send the message they want, much like Nintendo with their directs, it's a really good way of going about things because it allows them to paint the picture they want of the company.
Yeah, at this point, it's hard to tell what they're really going to do with that, other than, the normal stuff.
Yeah, we'll find out on the 18th because that's when the first episode hits.
It's probably weird that they're showing up on Twitch, which is pretty much almost exclusively about games.
Not really, because I mean, like I said, it's Screw Attack's Twitch, so it's probably just going to slot into the regular lineup there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Twitch was bound to diversify. Just
exactly, because
they were kind of created to be only about game streams, and well, I'm not lamenting the fact that they're branching out. Obviously, with Justin TV pretty much going away, Twitch is all that's left.
Yeah, exactly. Justin TV is pretty much been absorbed into Twitch, if you think about it.
Well, it's pretty much the same company. I mean, Twitch was created to be the game streaming arm of Justin.
Exactly, and then the game streaming arm just grew much bigger than the regular streaming arm. And, Justin became that place where everyone just goes to watch pirated TV.
Yeah.
I'm not saying
that was the real problem there.
I'm not saying to be cheeky. It's the real problem that they face. Like, at any given time of day, people were streaming TV episodes like Simpsons or King of the Hill and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that's almost impossible to enforce, and it's got to be a pain in the ass it's got to be a nightmare for operations.
Honestly, even game streams can be seen as a form of piracy. Just the game companies, thankfully and appropriately, tolerate it.
Yeah, the only one that really has caused a lot of ire there is Nintendo lately. Because
makes sense.
Yeah.
Because they're they're part of the old guard, and they've always been insanely protective of their brand.
Exactly. It's actually kind of interesting to watch that backlash, but that's another story for another day.
We're not going to tell that story. TLDR.
No. Exactly. I'd rather not get into a whole quagmire there.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say about this Dubbletalk. I mean, Funimation does a lot of stuff like this, and I don't watch most of it. I don't go gaga over behind-the-scenes things anymore. I just don't.
Yeah, I hear you there. I mean, I really do appreciate that they do stuff like that, but...
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying this as someone who is not their target audience, obviously.
Exactly. I'm not part of their target demo. I mean, the stuff that they show on air is stuff that we've seen billions of times before in some form or another. Like, I hate to say it, but we're just not the ones that they're marketing towards. Because, well,
we're too old.
No, that, but let's be honest. When Anime Boston comes around, I'm probably going to drop around $150 to $300 on just Funimation stuff. Just because they have 80% of the shows that most people are going to buy anyway.
Yeah. Well, and they're, as much as I hate to say it, their booth people are very persuasive, and they give out prizes and stuff.
Yeah, that too.
It's like, as I'm pulling out my credit card, it's like, I know beyond the shadow of a doubt I could get this cheaper on Amazon right now.
Oh yeah. I mean,
but prizes.
I mean, if you notice, I never buy at the Funimation booth if I can help it there. I kind of made it a point to avoid it last year. Not because I don't like them, but because every other vendor had what they were selling for about $20 less.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. Every vendor in a convention is going to mark their stuff up. It's just, they're the only people there. So, if you've got cash and you want to spend it, then these are your choices.
Exactly.
And I always bring a little cash because it's fun bringing home some swag and overpriced goods, as long as I didn't go too crazy.
Oh yeah, it's fun. It's part of the experience, I mean,
at least I wasn't buying fucking Minecraft hats.
True. Yeah, I mean, this year I've got a couple shows I want to find. I have to get that last volume of Ghost Super Mikami before it becomes rare. Because I can't find it anymore.
Interesting.
And I adore that show so much. Like, as soon as...
wonder if the bad anime guy will have that.
Show me... Tell me a show that'll end in marriage. Oh, shit. He is a reliable source to that. So I'll definitely be going to see him. He's good people. Hopefully you can make it to Bad Anime Bad this year, dude. It was great last year.
Yeah. I don't remember what I was doing, but... Oh, yeah. I was having seafood, which was also good. Was that a Right Stuff title? I don't even know.
No, that was Sentai Filmworks. Oh. It was one of their first titles, and honestly, while I adore the show, it has one of the messiest subtitle jobs I've ever seen.
Well, I used to play video games, so nothing I have ever seen in an anime is that messy.
For an anime show.
This guy are sick. I'll be stand over there.
It looks worse than some of the old VHS fan subs.
Yeah, that's something I appreciate about people who actually went into business to distribute anime. It's like you realize really really fast when you're trying to sell an actual product that the covering the entire fucking screen with subtitles and explanations of things is just dumb.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I even have trouble with things like there's two conversations going on at the same time, and I understand that they're trying to capture everything, but even that is difficult to, it winds up being a little bit annoying.
Yeah.
Especially if there's two conversations going on at the same time and somebody's singing in the background. Well, in that case, you just ignore the fucking singer. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
You do not have to capture every word that's spoken at all times.
Exactly. Getting too eager is just not smart either.
I find it strange that they're dubbing Yona and that they got that, and that Crunchyroll also has that.
Yeah, maybe it's one of those rare cases where it's a non-exclusive streaming rights.
Yeah.
Like they.
I mean, I don't really care. Just there's seems to be a lot of dilution there, and it's almost like Funimation is pulling a Viz. Like maybe they'll dub and release a season and decide that it's not worth it to continue.
Yeah, like Viz with some of their manga lines. Like,
I mean, don't get me wrong, Yona is good. I like it a lot. You just gotta wonder about these properties for girls, though. They're always a harder sell.
It really is. All right, that's our show, everybody. Thanks for joining us. And remember to rate and subscribe on iTunes and Stitcher. It really helps us out. And till next time, remember, as long as you've got determined enemy, you can do anything. This is Mike Ferris signing off.
This is Matt Brown, the Matster, making copies.
Have a great night, everybody.